Hey guys, so this is going to be lesson 5 of our needle felting series, and this is just going to show you how to go about attaching eyes to your needle felting project. So as you can see on screen right here, I have several different sizes of animal eyes, and I bought these I bought all of these on eBay. There's so long as you type in animal eyes or doll eyes or something along those lines, it should come up with some options. What I've seen lately is you can buy a series of 50 or a pair of 50 set of eyes, so 150 pairs in various sizes. So you can get 50 pairs of the 2mm, 50 in the 3mm, and 50 pairs for the 4mm. And as you can see, just comparison wise, so let me just go ahead and just bring those up to you to see. So the ones that I had bought in the series, they have little thin rods that are very, very easy to glue and attach to the eyes, but it's kind of hard to find them all the time. And as you can see, I'm almost running low on the 4mm, which is why I bought this huge, I think this is like a 500 pair, 500 pairs, so 1,000 pieces of 4mm eyes, and these have a larger rod. So it makes for inserting them into the needle felting project a little bit harder comparative to the thinner rod. So you can find some animal eyes at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but they tend to carry the really, really large animal eyes, so like the 8mm or 10mm, and sometimes they don't even have rods connected to them. So depending on what the size your project is, I would highly recommend just going online to find the materials that you need. So this right here is the 6mm, and as you can see here, this one actually has kind of like a screw top, or that has like a rod. So it's specifically for maybe like doll eyes that have like a backing that you can insert the animal eye in and then have a backing so that it stays in place. So this would still work for inserting into needle felting projects, but it would be really hard because of this separation, these screws right here. It's really hard. So I haven't used this all that much just yet, but most of my needle felting projects are very small, so I tend to go with the smaller. My go-to size is the 4mm. If I'm making, let's say, like a nose for the animals, I tend to use the 2mm, and they're really, really small. So let me just go ahead and get one out from each bag. Okay, so from left to right, you have the 2mm, the 3mm, and the 4mm. Typically for smaller projects, I always use the 4. And just for an example, so let me just go ahead and show you. Okay, so here is a little round monkey that I made, that I'm in the process of making more. I've only made 2 so far, but I have another 4 left. And the eyes that I'm using in the monkey is the 4mm. So, and it's from this. Because since I'm running low with the 4mm with the thinner rod, I am using the one with the thicker rod. And so let me just go ahead and show you how I did that. Okay, so we have here the bear that we've been working on for the past couple of lessons, and so it doesn't have its eyes. So let me go ahead and get the 4mm eyes out. Now, in terms of tools that you need in order to help you insert the eyes into the needle felting project, you need, of course, your needle felting needle and something, some sort of tool that has a pointed end to it. So this right here is a wooden tool that's meant for clay sculpting. So it has right here 2 pointed ends, and also right here I have a chopstick. Now the only reason I'm using this is because it's made out of plastic, so it's smooth, and it has a tapered end. So find something essentially that has a tapered end. That's very important. So what we do first is we are going to take a look to see where we want to have the eyes. So in terms of where we want to have the eyes, I'm going to have one small dot right here and another right here. Now in terms of what kind of look you're going for, you could just have a small indentation and just have the dots right there, and then just make it larger by poking this hole in and making it wider. Or what you can do is have kind of like the sunken eye look. So how you would go about doing that is you needle felt, stabbing the same general area multiple times so it sinks in. And then when you insert the eyes in, the surrounding area kind of encapsulates the eyes. So let me just go ahead and show you both kinds of techniques. So here is just the one side. I'm just making the hole a little bit wider. So I'm just, again, using the tapered end, making it a little bit wider. And then now I'm going to use the chopstick, make it even wider. So I'm almost essentially stabbing it all the way through. As you can see right here, it's kind of like wanting to poke through the end. Now you have a large eye socket, and you can just go ahead, slip it in there nice and easily. And when you want to secure it, just go ahead, get some glue. So I like to use either the E6000 glue. So you can either use this glue. The glue that I use the most though is this 527 multi-purpose glue. Mostly because this glue is more watery than it is the E6000. Because yeah, the E6000 is a little bit more viscous, and it's kind of harder for me to maneuver. I'm really used to this more liquidy glue. So what you would do is, now the tendency with these glue, the glue in these kinds of bottles is they tend to want to ooze out. So I always find it more secure just to keep the bottle vertical, having the opening pointing up, so none of the liquid comes out or none of the glue comes out. And I just want to press, squeeze out just a little bit so that some of the glue is coming out from the top, and then inserting the rod into, grabbing some of that glue. You just need a little bit, and go ahead and now insert it into the eye. If it does not go in as well as it did before, then you may just have to take it out, and it's not going to hurt the the overall project, because see, it's kind of clinging onto it. But I had some problems inserting it all the way. Just go ahead and just make the hole a little bit wider. Again, go ahead and just reapply the glue. And just go ahead and put it in. This time it seems to go in a lot more easily. And there you have it. So you can see that the eye is kind of protruding out a little bit on this, but it still looks cute. So now let me go ahead and show you how you go about doing the sunken eye look. So let me just go ahead, recap the bottle. Now get your needle felting tool, and you just start stabbing it in the general area where you want the eye. So you're kind of creating like a socket. So you're creating a larger indentation. This may take several times. So you've made a bit of a socket right there. And now you're going to take one of the tools, create a larger hole so that way the rod of the doll eye can go in. So, and I'm just going to make the hole a little bit wider. And now we test it out, see how it looks. And as you can see, the eye is really sunken in there. As opposed to this one that's more towards the surface, this one is more sunken in. So there's the comparison. And in the same way you would go about securing the eye, just take out the eye, put a little bit of glue on the rod, and then just go ahead and put it in. And there you go. So that's essentially it, guys. So if there's any suggestions or questions that you guys want to see in terms of how to go about needle felting, leave it in the comments below. I already have one recommendation or request from one of the viewers saying that you know, how do you make the surface really smooth, and I kind of covered that in either lesson 2 or 3, I forgot which one, but I think it's lesson 2, that the way you go about making needle felt the surface to be smooth is, one, you have to make sure that the kind of material that you're using is of a nice softer quality. So I bought my wool from Handcrafter on Etsy, and it's very soft wool. It felts very fast, and it has a very smooth consistency. However, if you're working with more coarse wool, you just need to make sure that when you are stabbing, go shallow. Don't go deep. I mean, you saw just earlier that I was going really, really deep when I was making the eye socket for this. You don't want to go deep when you are needle felting just the surface of the area. You just want to kind of like lightly go ahead and just needle felt the surface and go around, circulate the area, so that way you're not having like patches of really nice finished needle felted areas and other areas that are kind of patchy and soft. So you want to go around and be consistent. And also it helps if you notice like if there's like a lot of holes or something like that, know when to back off and just kind of like maybe massage the area so that way it kind of gets rid of those holes. So that way you have a nice smooth. And when you are needle felting and you notice that areas of the felt are clumping together, have small pairs of scissors and just cut those clumps and flare out the wool, and then lightly needle felt the area so that way it adheres nicely and smoothly. And that's essentially it. I'll probably make another video so that way you can see the process a little bit better and how to make the wool nice and smooth. Though I don't claim to be an expert on that. I've seen other needle felting projects that are way more very, very smooth, and that to the point where it doesn't even look like wool. It looks like clay almost. It looks so smooth. But I'm thinking that's probably dependent upon the type of wool you use and your needle felting technique. So I'll go ahead, I'll make another video on that. But if you have any other suggestions or requests, go ahead, leave it in the comments below, and I'll see if I can go ahead and do that for you. And I hope you enjoyed that video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!